lose Commonwealth funding if they fail to provide a safe environment. Speaking in Parliament, Federal Attorney-General Michelle Rowland says the current rules need to be coordinated across the country.
Different states and territories have inconsistent schemes covering eligibility and reportable conduct. They do not talk to each other, and there is no system of national oversight or real-time monitoring.
The Senate has overwhelmingly voted down One Nation Senator Pauline Hanson's motion to scrap Australia's net zero by 2050 emissions policy. In the US, at least 2 people are dead after a shooting at a casino in Nevada. The suspect is now in custody. And changes by Australian Red Cross Lifeblood will now allow people who have recovered from cancer to donate blood a year after treatment. It's as long as they undergo health checks and had their remission confirmed by a health professional. People who have had blood cancer remain ineligible. Up next, sen.com.au sport. Dane Zorko has asked for an explanation from the AFL about a $3,000 fine he was handed for insulting language towards the officials bench. It came in the Lions' round 19 win over the Western Bulldogs. He's told SEN it's caught him off guard.
Yeah, it's an absolute joke. But anyway, yeah, look, we've seeked further clarification and hopefully we'll get that.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Good morning, wherever you may be, right around the country. 8:04 a.m. Hello to you. It is Tuesday, the 29th of July. Tuesday, the 29th of July, getting a long way through the year. Miles Pfitzner filling in for Gareth Hall. And it's all thanks to Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Love to hear from you this morning, 0499 736 736. We've got an absolutely stacked show for you, of which you can catch on Facebook via the SEN app or via our YouTube channel, fully streaming at the moment. Looking forward to much more streaming hours as we roll through to the spring. Gareth Hall having a break for a few weeks. I'm filling in for him, so not too long to go. And Gareth will be back, but currently on a bird heading to Europe. Massive show today. Coming up very shortly, Will Freedman will join me for close enough to the first hour. We're going to sort of shoot the fat, if you know what I mean. In regards to the state of Australian racing. You thought I was going to say it, didn't you? The state of racing, tracks in particular, maybe ownership. I did read a good article that Will had spoken to thestraight.com.au in regards to ownership and ownership costs. So I'm going to have a chat to Will for close enough to the first hour. Then the midweek masterclass, the boys will jump in and join me. We'll have an early look at the racing on Wednesday. So Mick Gannon, Chris Nelson, Mitch Lewis will join me. 6-time Group 1 winner last year, superstar in his own right and a great man, Ethan Brown, will join me close enough to 9:30. We'll discuss all things Jimmy Starr, light infantry man, You name it, we'll have it. Mornington Glory, another prophet. I think another prophet goes around at the trials this morning there at Rose Hill, so we'll try to keep you up to date with some of those as well. Bag of tips we'll roll through as per. Then we're going to head north for our Western Whip Around and for Racing WA TV on 7+. We're going to have a chat to Kelda Jones, who is the Broome Turf Club CEO. The Broome Cup not far away either. It normally rolls in just after the Darwin Cup. It's a bucket list item for me. I've never been there. Darwin Cup I do love, and we're going to talk a bit of Darwin Cup today as well. But the Broome Cup is one that I've always wanted to put in the book, and we're going to have a chat to Kelda Jones about their carnival fast approaching. Nikita Ross will join us for the Country Racing Hour, and they've got some news in around Country Racing Victoria, a sale coming up around the spring, their awards are not far away either, and we'll discuss maybe who's in contention for Horse of the Year. I think it's Right and Rose, Dashing and Rhinoceros are the three that roll through the voting. Mick Nolan will join us after Stylish Secret won at Caulfield there on the weekend. And then we've also got Jack Dickens to join us from the Mailbag Bloodstock team. We'll have a chat about Windstorm winning after all that time and a few of the other horses in the Mailbag team and how they're going, their association with Benji and how they source their horses. Haven't had a chat to Dicko for a long time, so he's always good value, Dicko. And then we're going to do probably the start of a few Darwin Cup previews. Now, you can't talk Darwin Cup Carnival or Darwin Racing without talking to Gary Clark. So Gary Clark will join us. We'll have a chat to him about his runners in the Cup. We'll have a chat to him about his runners over the entire weekend. They race there tomorrow, Saturday, and again on Monday. I'll be up there on Saturday and on Monday. And I think Johnny O'Neill and I might be doing the Monday means test from the Darwin Cup there on Monday before Sam Hyland and I do trackside from the Darwin Cup on Monday. It's a magnificent day. If you've never been, it's one of the great race meetings anywhere in Australia. So looking forward to catching up with Clarkey and we'll have a big chat with him. And that's nearly going to round us out. Don't forget to 0499 736 736 to join the conversation. Will Freeman not far away. I want to give him a big run as we roll into the 8:30 news. If there's anything you want to ask Will on, if you want to ask a trainer, the time is nigh. 0499 736 736. It's 0499 736 736. As we're going to have a bit of a chat around the state of Australian racing. Miles Pfitzner with you, filling in for Gareth Hall this Tuesday morning, the 29th of July. Big show coming up ahead. We're going to clear a break nice and early and get a good run at Will on the other side of this. All thanks to Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Welcome back to Giddy Up for Gareth Hall. Miles Pfitzner filling in for him. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. Go to gamblinghelponline.org.au. 8:15 for the next 45 minutes. I've got one of the best in the business. Absolutely love chatting to this bloke. He sent me a text last night and said, I'm happy to come on and have a chat, but don't just agree with me. And I said, I won't. I'll speak of Will Freeman. He joins me this morning. Hello, mate.
Good morning. How are we?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. It's good weather up here. What's it like in Melbourne?
Cold. Yeah, overcast, cold. Yeah. I haven't run through the weather yet. It looks like it's, forecast to 19 in Sydney today? Overnight low at 9?
It's good here today. I think we're getting a fair bit of rain over the next few days, though. Like I have a good back and forth with Josh Holt from Channel 10 because it's like trainers are the best because we're the best weather forecasters because our forecast is always biased to whatever style of horse we have running on a Saturday. Like if you've got wet trackers, the rain is coming. And if you've got dry trackers, the weatherman's wrong and you won't get as much rain as forecasted. Like we're the best.
Trainers and weathermen probably have a thing in common, is where they can get it wrong nearly every day and they don't get the sack. That's right.
Professional losers. Like horse trainers, if you win 20% of the time, you're flying. But I always say to clients that are in business generally, I'm like, if you ever need someone to deliver bad news, like trainers are your go-to. Like we are just completely immune to giving bad news now. Like it's a learned skill. It has to be.
Have you ever had one of your sort of Mick Price moments? Do you remember that sort of? What was it? A message he left the trainers telling him he sold the horse to the strapper for $1 and she's going to get some change. Was that slow?
Yeah. I mean, it's a very particular client you can do that to. I mean, like the old adage of you can insult a man's wife but not his horse is still very true in some circumstances. But sometimes it's apparent for all and. It's you can give very it's humorous when Mick does it, and you've got to have a light-hearted moment. But a lot of people have had slow horses. Most people have had slow horses, and if you can't manage the disappointment of having a slow horse, then you're probably unlikely to ever get a fast one because you'll be out before you know it. So I have had some of those chats with. A funny one that I had recently was a client of ours. I was calling him about a horse that we were selling, and he's been a very good client for a long time. And he said, "Oh, what are you trying to flog off to me now? What can't you sell now that you're calling for me?" and I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, every time you call, it's only because you can't sell them. And I said, well, the last time didn't work out that poorly. There was an extreme choice cult that I called you up because we had 65% of it left and it ended up being stay inside. And then he said, send me the invoice, it happens all the time.
Hey, where do we find you this morning, my friend?
I'm at Rose Hill. We've got trials a little bit later, but I'm not in the first few trials, which is good. But it's a good time of year for trials because the good horses are all coming back. And while we don't have any in those group trials this morning, it is a good time to be watching horses resume. It's a pretty light week. I think some trainers that sort of worry about their strike rate, and that's probably a discussion for another day, whether it's a big deal or not. They probably there's not a whole lot of upside in winning races in the 30th and 31st of July. You're probably better off waiting for the 1st and 2nd of August because you sort of want to get your season off to a good start.
Yeah, you can hold off on some and place them a little bit better and get the season rolling.
That's right. Usually for strike rate, if you start high, you remain high, and if you start slow, it's very hard to sort of draw it back. I mean, there's no logic to that because obviously it's a matter of how many runners and winners you have, but it just seems to work that way for stables.
You might be able to take us through some of the trials live. I know we've got another Prophet. We're chatting to Ethan Brown later. That's going to go around there at Rose Hill. A few other good horses running there in the first three. The first one's up in 10 minutes. Have you got your best Darren Flindell for us to take us?
I've seen, to be fair, I've seen a few broadcasters have to do the pooling. I mean, I'm rather impressed with how people can do it. I would be so overwhelmed and stumble. Like I just, because trainers and punters alike is you only look at your horse for the most part of it. Like, you're really only looking at the horse you're concentrated on. When you're a race caller, you've got to have an eye out for every runner. I think it's an incredible skill. And I mean, those very good radio broadcasters, they're exceptional.
Well, I wanted to talk about the tracks with you, first of all. We could talk about the tracks just in Sydney or the tracks in general, but we had a weekend in particular, a reasonably rare weekend, where most of the East Coast was covered with a front that came over from the west. And it's pretty rare that you get rain at tracks from Adelaide right through to Brisbane at exactly the same time. Sydney was fascinating on the weekend. We saw a lot of commentary around that the Times might have indicated that the track was rated a lot worse than what it was. Caulfield ended up somewhat okay, but where have you got the state of Australian tracks at the moment? And if you want to talk more specifically, Sydney.
Well, I don't necessarily have a huge issue with the tracks. I mean, it's not an easy gig being a track curator. And I feel like at times they put more pressure on themselves, because it's not even though it's not a perfect science, because you can't possibly take the track rating for the entire track at one time. While it should be fairly consistent, it just never works that way. And I've always been of the view is, like, someone, whether it's a curator or the stewards or a jockey, end up coming out and saying this is what the track is. And in my brain, I say, well, why don't we just have a senior jockey ride the track and just publish that information? Tommy Berry thinks the track is between a 6 and a 7. The course curator has walked the track. He thinks the course curator thinks it's walking a 7. And then if then you go, okay, and our opinion is based on the feedback from Tommy and the curator, is that the track is going to rate a soft 7. But at least the punters and the trainers and the participants have the ability to take all the information on board and make their own opinion of it. It's only an opinion, is the track rating. Even with the pentrometer, sometimes the pentrometer says it's going to be a 7, and the Times say it's going to be a 5. Like, there's so many variables about it that I just think, I don't know why we've gotten to this method where there has to be a particular rating that everyone has to base all of their decisions off, when there's 3 or 4 people being consulted to try, or 3 and 4 different measurements that are being used to be consulted to get to that figure. Just give us the information, and then we can make the decision.
Well, I believe that there's a few arms to this. Is one of them is there's always pressure on a track manager to deliver a certain type of track. Now, I think that as time's going longer, as we're moving more forward, and I think the horses are getting potentially a little bit softer, and therefore we're probably leaning towards making tracks that are more suitable for horses in the soft range rather than in the good range. And you know, people are thinking that a 6 is what we need. Now, the interpretations of a 6 for a lot of people are different, but when you've got some race clubs will try and hold up a rating and put forward a rating to avoid getting a host of scratchings so that the fields are full, as in calling it a 6 when it should be called an 8. And you can see on the TV after race 1 that, like, Blind Freddie will tell you that that's at least an 8. And then that holds up while people are trying to punt on that product Australia-wide. That's where we've got another issue, is that I sit here and watch races every day at SEN Track, and you watch them in all states over and over and over again. And the amount of times that what the track rating says on the TV, what it says on your betting company on your phone, and what it says on Racing Australia on the computer in front of you are all different. That's when you know you've got a problem.
And it's a frustration, not just for punters, but for participants as well. And I came out publicly not that long ago, and I've been a fairly big advocate of it, is that I think participants, owners and trainers, the ability to scratch is too high. Like there's too much of a luxury to be able to scratch just to find perfect conditions for your horse. While I do agree that if the track is too firm for your horse or it's on the extreme side of wet, there should be a lenience to be able to scratch.
So you're saying you can scratch on an upgrade or a downgrade?
Well, not necessarily upgrade or downgrade. I just mean at the start of the morning, I don't personally believe we should be allowed to scratch just because. Just because
the track changes.
You don't actually have to, but you don't have to give any reason to scratch. You can accept in 3 different locations. You can just pick whichever one you have the best barrier draw in. In Hong Kong and in America, once you accept for the race, you can only scratch on a vet certificate. Like you can only scratch on a vet certificate, and there's a stand down period for you to scratch after that. So it's like to accept after that, I should say. So you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to run in 2 days. Like, no. You can't run for the next week. Like, too bad. There was a veterinary issue. You're not running for a week. So that's the first part of it, is I think that agenda for the track curators having to try and entice people to run is part of the issue.
Yes.
Is like, they're worried that if they give the real track rating, they get no starters and they generate no income for the club. That's a problem.
Yep.
And the problem is that there's an expectation with owners that every start you're going to be competitive. While if we actually had a system where owners would accept that the conditions aren't always going to be perfect, you're not always going to have an inside barrier, then people would accept that you're not going to win every start. And that then it actually, in my opinion, takes pressure off the trainers, because it's like, okay, guys, we're running from barrier 12 or 13. It's a horse that doesn't show early speed, so we're probably going to be too far back to be able to win. But we'll come on from the fitness of it, and then we will then target another race where hopefully we get the conditions to suit. And, if rain is being expected for the next 3 days like it is today, and you don't want to run on Saturday because it might be a heavy 10, don't accept on Tuesday or don't accept on Wednesday for that race. Wait until the next week where you've got a clear week. Like, the problem for punters, and I find it problem period for racing and turnover, is that the field is decimated. Like, we have 3 and 4 scratchings in most races. And I don't think that's good for anybody. And that's when I look at tracks and I'm like, okay, well, if you couldn't scratch, the curators would have no reason to have any agenda. They'd just be like, guys, it's a heavy 8. And you'd be like, oh, that's annoying. But what can I do about it? Well, unless it's a welfare issue.
It's funny that the scratchings don't normally happen when the conditions change, when they're Group 1, 2 and 3 races, do they?
No.
So they don't go, oh, well, it's gone from a 6 to an 8 and I'm running in a Group 1. Geez, I'm not going to run it. I'll scratch.
That's exactly right.
That doesn't happen.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what I mean. It's just the luxury of choosing races for trainers. And we're a strike rate stable. This is not an agenda. This is not me pushing an agenda for myself, because we do scratch a lot because you're allowed to. And we try and pick the right race for every horse and try and get the conditions as close to possible as we can. But if they changed the rules and they said you have to run, we'd be a little bit more selective where we run, and then we would be even more selective where we're going to accept, because you don't want to strike a heavy 10. So I wouldn't accept on Saturday at Rose Hill because it's likely to be a heavy 10.
What's it like in New South Wales in regards to when you go outside of maybe the metropolitan area? I know here in Victoria, I mean, I had a look at a Matoa meeting there last week. There were some races that had 90-odd noms. And then you go to race day, and they've got a 6 and a 7 horse field. I mean, the horses are getting nominated everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
The slight difference between New South Wales and Victoria is that there is a charge for nominations in New South Wales. There's no charge for nominations in Victoria. And there's a thing called progressive acceptances in Melbourne where the trainer can actually see which horses have accepted. We don't have that in Sydney either. So there are slight differences. So people look at horses that have accepted and go, oh, well,
we're not going.
The first couple of favourites have accepted here. I'm not a chance. You know, like, again, I don't mind that system. That's like, it does help for people to plan around, but nominations are almost a moot point in Melbourne. Like, why do we bother even having nominations in Melbourne? Just have acceptances. You can accept if you want to run. Like, it almost makes no difference. So, that's an issue.
Would you be a fan of progressive acceptances in New South Wales? Or do you think that we'd end up finding that everyone would wait till the last minute like they would anyway?
I don't mind it either way, to be honest. I don't think, like, whatever way you do it is fine. But if you have progressive acceptances, no, I think they do this in Victoria. I'm not as well versed in Victoria, but I think if you accept in a race in Victoria, they then push you to the bottom of the ballot in another race. So I think that's a mitigating way of doing it. But honestly, I think the simplest solution is to be, unless it's in the heavy 9, heavy 10 range, or if it's in the firm 1 and 2 range, you really shouldn't have a reason to scratch. Like, horses are not going to, like, it's not a welfare issue at sort of heavy 8 to good 3. You know, as long as if we go down if we go down that route though, the curators have to be completely transparent of what the track is. Like, don't say it's a 3 if it's a 2, and don't say it's an 8 if it's a 9. You know, like, it has to be super transparent from that point of view.
You'd sort of think that someone's made a mistake if it's a 2, and if it's if it's a 9 or a 10, it's out of their control. So
that's right.
It'd probably end up taking pressure off them, really.
Exactly. And in the long run, okay, they might have meets where they get to a 9 and 10 where they have very few runners. But over the course of the year, it would boost field sizes to the point where they're like, okay, we can handle that. We can handle not having big fields for 1 or 2 meets a year because the rest of the fields are full most of the time, you know? So that's where I've always thought that that's a way of mitigating that problem, and I think it's getting out of control now. And honestly, like, we'll talk about this at some point over another chat, but when you've got mega stables that are bigger than they've ever been, you're going to find that they nominate and accept with a lot of horses and then try and not have horses that can both win in the same race. So it's a problem that's becoming more significant as the big stables get bigger. So it's something that they need to get on the front foot of, to be like, no, guys, we need to have a better understanding of what's running once the acceptances come through, so the punters can have confidence that who they're betting on in early markets are running. And, you know, I just think and turnover will go up because you'll have bigger field sizes, which is a direct line to turnover.
Enjoying this thoroughly, Will. If you can hold there for a moment, we've got to get the news headlines, 8:32. I'm making notes for our next chat. Will tease off on mega stables. I'm just writing that down here. We're going to go to the news. Will Freeman, Miles Pfitzner will be back on the other side of this, all thanks to Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead.
by Signet, making SEN News headlines. The ACTU is demanding the Albanese government introduce legislation to safeguard workers from AI, saying workers should have full confidence the tech won't cost them their jobs. That comes as former Aussie airline Ansett is making a comeback as an artificial intelligence-powered travel agency. The Senate overwhelmingly votes down One Nation Senator Pauline Hanson's motion to scrap Australia's net zero by 2050 emissions policy. And after 5 days of deadly border clashes, Cambodia and Thailand have agreed to a truce. Up next, SEN Sport. Dane Zorko has asked for an explanation from the AFL about a $3,000 fine he was handed for insulting language towards the officials bench. It came in the Lions' round 19 win over the Western Bulldogs. He's told SEN it's caught him off guard.
Yeah, it's an absolute joke. But anyway, yeah, look, we've seeked further clarification and hopefully we'll get that.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back. Miles Pfitzner, Will Freedman with you this morning, Tuesday the 29th of July. Just saw the first trial there at Rose Hill. Perfumist for Bjorn Baker. Won that trial by what, 10?
Yeah, it looks like a furlong.
Wow, weak. Beat a Rapahoe.
It's quite an interesting part of trialling in Sydney, though, is that what trainers want to accomplish in trials is very different trainer to trainer. And I mean, Rose Hill's probably a good barometer of it. Chris never trials his horses overly hard. Björn and Gay are probably the more aggressive trialers, and then we and then the rest sort of middle in the middle. They're run at a more of a race simulation than I would say in Melbourne from my eye. While I haven't trialled many in Melbourne, it just appears that way.
Yeah, well, it's as good a trial as you'd ever want to see for OTI. Perfumist. Arapaho, I think, ran second, Land Legend third, and you had Interpretation, Cadaver, and Tijanis in there. So 3 for Waller, 2 for Baker, and 1 for Kieran Maher. The next trial comes up, Anisette Commemorative, Gatsby's looks a nice horse, General Salute, Powers of Opal, and Springlee again for Björn. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Mate.
Can you imagine the carry-on if Björn wins the Melbourne Cup with a Rapaho? Like, it'll go for months.
Oh, he's as good as there is when it comes to celebrating on and off, isn't he?
He's an elite celebrator. Elite. Like, top of the line. But people forget about Björn. He's been doing this a long time. So the success he's having in the past sort of 18 months has been quite a long time coming, I would say. It's probably happened all at once, and it seemed rather like quick coming onto the scene. But I think if you go back and you look at his performances over the last 10 years, you'd say that he's due to have a good run like he's having now.
Well, when he come over originally, I mean, he was travelling the horses a lot, trying to get a win anywhere. But, I mean, he's really had to build it himself. Full credit to him. Full credit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Miles, great to hear you got Dicko on this morning, who had the pleasure of meeting Jack at Sandown. Dave, we'll get to those texts and talk about him in a while. I think the massive issue is the bookies not updating the track condition on the day. And then we need more clarity. Well, that is like a big issue. It's also funny that they leave horses up, I think, when they're already... I mean, we've seen the acknowledgement this morning, Will, that Prognosis has been retired to stud, and we won't see prognosis out again for the Cox Plate, but you can still go. I mean, that's been announced. You can still go and get a bet on prognosis for the Cox Plate. He's not even going to run.
Yeah, that's
he won't
a
even
bit,
be there.
That's tough. That'd be a tough one to you've just put on $100 bet and you read online.
Your money is confetti.
But to give some credit is like, it would be very hard as a betting agency to stay on top of all updates.
But the Cox Plate's pretty big.
Yeah.
So it's not hard to stay when you've only got a certain amount of futures markets up, right? Like,
yeah, it's hard to feel. It's also hard to feel too sympathetic for bookmakers, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sympathetic really much at all. I
can hear that.
It's us v them. It always has been, and we love them, especially Bet365. They're the best. Never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Hey,
very good.
We had a chat about the tracks. What can you tell us what the mood's been like just up there in Sydney post all this Rosehill blowover? We've seen now the resignation and another announcement of someone else coming in, but from down here in Melbourne, and I don't think nationally really, it was a tale of two tapes. There was some for, some against. I mean, was there much at the training towers in regards to who had the opinion on what? Or was it really just business as usual?
It almost feels like a bit of a waste of energy as a trainer. It's like, you only get what's put in front of you. So it's hard to be too critical, like to spend too much time being critical. Like you're so quickly onto the next agenda that you're like, yeah, I'd prefer the track to have been playing fairer, and I'd prefer this and I'd prefer that. But in the end, the punters are the best at keeping the curators accountable, because don't worry, the curators know about the feedback that comes from it. They're certainly not naive to that, and they don't want to prepare tracks that are too biased and have speed lanes. Like, that's not in their best interest. It's just, as I've said before, there are so many variables in tracks, and some people have a view that, you know, leave the rail in the true position, let the jockeys figure out where the best ground is, and that may be true, but it may bring different issues that you don't forecast. Like, if they compact the inside, do they ever get to the outside? Do you end up having such wear on the inside that it's like dirt, you know, getting closer to dirt where they just run on fill? It's like it's a very difficult. And I do have some empathy for the curators, but I would say there was not a lot of chat about it. It was just keep going. Like,
away you go.
Hopefully they get it right next time. Like, what more can you do?
I want to clear a break now. I want to come back on the other side. I want to talk about the rise of social media in racing, what stables are doing. Loving your TikToks at the moment, especially the stuff that comes out of the tower. Absolutely brilliant. Will Friedman joins me, Miles Pfitzner, on the other side of this. Back in a moment.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Miles Pfitzner with you. All thanks to the team at Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead, because it's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Trial number 2 there, Will Freeman at Rose Hill. And it was interesting to see commemorative there. First trial for Chris Waller in behind.
I've stepped outside. I didn't watch it. Fill me in.
Oh, well, Spring Lee, as expected for Björn, won the trial. General salute for Gerald Ryan and Sterling Alexi, who was second in commemorative, trialled extremely well. Thought it did its best work late, so its first trial. And then we've got the third one coming up with another Prophet, Lindemann, North England. A few good horses in the next one too.
You could do quite a funny prank, I think, where you could get a trainer on all flustered and be like, "Did you just watch that race? I'm just calling you." And he goes, "No, I didn't watch it." He goes, "Just pretend you did, and just see if you can ask them some questions and see how they bullshit." Like, it would be proper entertaining.
Oh, they never forgive us. Hey, speaking of being forgiven, how are you going with the TikToks? How's the old man finding it? I haven't had a chat to you for a while, and we'll have a chat again. Hopefully we can do it again next week when I get back from Darwin on Wednesday. But I really enjoy some of the social media stuff, and you must find the engagement for the stable's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we don't do it for generation of business. And I think people in the industry think, they go, "Well, how's this going to get you more horses?" It's like, it's not really about that. It's something fun that keeps people engaged, and our owners like it. Like, they enjoy. They know it's only, like, we did one this morning that'll come out probably in a day or two, and it took 11 minutes to film. It's not a huge portion of our day.
Not a big production budget.
There's no planning. It's like, try and find something that pisses Richard off. Like, that's my goal of the segment. And if he takes the bait, even better. Like, it depends. And I just think, my personal view, and this is only personal, is we've got some great personalities in racing. Great personalities, from trainers to jockeys, but we don't get to see enough of them. Like, we talk to them in the tower, and we talk to them in the trainer's room or in the jockeys. Like, they've got really, really outspoken, vibrant personalities. I just love to see more of them, and for people to be like, this is what these people are like to have a beer with. Like, that's why we're in racing. It's personally, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe punters do enjoy it, but the punters really enjoy being told pre-race that every horse is going to run well, and we're expecting a good performance on every horse. Like, have you ever asked a trainer if how their horse is going to go, and they go, "Nah, expecting it to run in the second half of the field"? Like, you'll never hear it. So it's like it just gets a little bit monotonous for me. So I just thought, there's room for a disruptor, and that's what Richard and I essentially came down the path of, just being like, let's just disrupt how the media is happening on this.
Do you think
let's
you find
show who we are?
That the trainers give a bit of like sort of AFL and NRL players a little bit, where it's, as soon as the camera comes on, it's the generic, the team game, the cliche stuff. Where are you going to go to next? Well, we'll just make sure the horse eats up and see how it recovers. And, we'll just take it 1 week at a time.
I would argue that it's not necessarily the trainers on that. It's the questions being asked, right? It's the asking the question that has the standard response. So I'm like,
where to next for this horse?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's not often you go, geez, do you have a bet? How much you pocket there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you celebrated pretty hard.
There's been some great stories over the time that you hear about on the grapevine about trainers that have, like, John Sadler's stories about punting kills are great. Like, you're allowed to bet as a trainer. It's okay. Like, you're allowed to do it. There's no rule against it. But it's like this, you can't talk about that. Well, why not? Like, if it's not against the rules, there's no issue in talking about it. Like, just, it's fine. So I like the stuff Kieran does, where we get to see how Kieran's training horses. It's just gives, and as I said, I'm not so much watching it for exactly what they're doing with horses. I'm just trying to figure out what the personalities are like, who you can get around. I think that's the same in the AFL. Like, they don't really care about when you're watching those mic'd up boys in training, you're not looking at what training drills they're doing. You're looking how they interact with their teammates. You're looking for the personality. That's my view.
I've got about 60 seconds here as we're watching that last trial come through. It looks like Lindeman's in front. Gatsby's, or not Gatsby's. Is that Memo for Peter Snowden on the outside, China Horse Club colours? Another Prophet back on the inside. It's a nice little trial for a few of those horses. Love the social media content from the Freedmans. The Baker team's also awesome on the socials, along with Tony Gollan. Someone said, can we ask Will quickly if trainers are starting to use any aspects of AI to assist in their preparation of horses? Got about 30 seconds.
I don't think it's there yet. I think there's still an art to training and there's still a horsemanship element to it. It'll come, I'm sure. We've got to reduce the costs in training. AI will have its place, but I think it's still probably not filtered in yet.
Hey, greatly appreciate your time this morning, mate. I'll look forward to hopefully having a chat again next Wednesday. I've got to go to Darwin for a few days. Pretty tough gig up there for the Darwin Cup.
It sounds very tough.
Yeah, it really is. The weather up there is pretty...
Make sure you have a couple of days off when you get back.
Yeah, 31 degrees up there in Darwin today. Appreciate your time as always, mate, and hopefully we can have a chat again next week.
All right, legend. See you.
Will Freedman there, absolute ripper. Last break, I'll come back and set up the rest of the show on the other side of this.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Miles Pfitzner filling in for Gareth Hall, all thanks to the team at Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Good to chat to Will Freeman there, cover the first few trials here at Rose Hill. Still got a big show to come. On the other side of this, the midweek masterclass. So Mickey Gannon, Chris Nelson and Mitch Lewis to join me right up to 9:30. Ethan Brown, after the 9:30 news, we'll have a chat to him. 6-time Group 1 winner last season, so we'll run through some of his horses. Nikita Ross from Country Racing Victoria, Mick Nolan, Jack Dickens, Gary Clark, and Kelda Jones, the Broome Turf Club CEO, still to join me. Massive show ahead, don't go anywhere. And if you are listening on your radios and you want to watch the show, you can watch via YouTube, on Facebook, or via the SEN app. Send a text in any time. Got a few in this morning. Some of them I can't read. 0499 736 736. They're all in good, positive fashion. Might even give you a weather update on the other side of this. Gareth normally gives you the time, doesn't he? Everyone knows what time it is. I want to know what sort of weather it is. We'll be back on the other side of the news headlines.
Powered by Signet. Good morning, I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. As Donald Trump faces relentless pressure to release the Epstein files, Mark Epstein, the brother of the convicted sex offender, has spoken out. He's calling on the Trump administration to reopen the investigation into his brother's death. He was found dead inside a jail cell while awaiting trial 6 years ago. He's told Channel 9 there is no way he took his own life.
Well, he knew a lot of things about a lot of people. Somebody wanted to keep him quiet. 2016, during the election, Jeffrey told me that he didn't tell me what he knew, but he told me that if he said what he knew about the candidates, that they would have to cancel the election.
Meantime, the US president has publicly called on Israel to allow every ounce of food into Gaza, acknowledging the severe humanitarian crisis, while Trump says he's now giving Russian leader Vladimir Putin 10 to 12 days to end the war with Ukraine. Back home, Outback Wrangler star Matt Wright's trial in Darwin continues over charges linked to a fatal helicopter crash in 2022. He's facing 3 charges of attempting to pervert the course of justice following the death of co-star Chris Wilson. Jury selection is expected to kick off later this week. A fire has torn through a factory in Adelaide's inner north. Flames took control of the Regency Park building earlier this morning. And a Broadway-style musical about singer John Farnham's career comeback in the 1980s could be on the cards, with plans to hit the stages next year. Up next, sen.com.au sport. Toby Green is facing more scrutiny, this time over an off-the-ball incident against the Swans. Behind the goals vision from Friday's match shows the Giants captain kicking his leg backwards, striking Dane Rampy between the legs. And Melbourne's Stephen May will serve out the rest of his 3-game ban after the AFL Appeals Board upheld the tribunal's decision to suspend him.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up for Gareth Hall. Miles Pfitzner in the chair for him just after 9 o'clock. But you know the time. Everyone's got an iPhone. All thanks to Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. And if you've got an Android, you need your head read, really. I mean, it's as simple as that. If you've got a Samsung, just be better. We're going to do the weather right around the country. Darwin, 31 degrees. Can't wait to get there. Brisbane, 22. If you're in Sydney, a forecast of 19. Hobart, a chilly 12 degrees. Melbourne, 13, not much better. Canberra, 13, about the same. Adelaide, 13. It's as cold as charity in the southeast corner. And then we go right over to Perth, 17 degrees. So hello to you and good morning. If you're just joining us for the first time, we've already had a chat to Will Friedman this morning for the first hour. Now we move into, we got a stinger for this one? We don't. It's time for the midweek masterclass. Joining us down the line, the superstar himself from the great tip-off. I speak of one Michael Gannon, +6 himself. Hello, Mickey.
Hello, Miles. Good to be here, mate. Can you give me the time in South Australia, please, and maybe Perth as well?
Yeah, well, it's 8:35 in South Australia at the moment, and in Perth it would be around about 7:30, I think.
7:05.
7:05.
Yeah, not bad.
Damn it! Hey, just I've got a little bit starstruck here. The great Voski's just walked past the back. He must be in Melbourne. Voss?
Andrew Voss.
Oh, yeah, mate. He's an absolute star. Vossi. Hey, are you watching some of these Rose Hill trials?
No, I'm not. No, a bit busy this morning. I'll catch up on them, though. They're a lot easier to watch on replay, so you don't have to wait 8 minutes between them. So
yeah, they certainly are. I don't have much choice sitting here in the studio. Hey, midweek masterclass. Let's turn our attention to Warwick Farm tomorrow. 7 race card, soft 6. What are you expecting track-wise?
It could be a disaster. I'd be surprised if we get through the meeting if the 20 mils of rain hits. Miles currently at a soft 6, Peno 5.32. Anywhere from 4 to 20. Let's just work on horses that are rock hard fit, that handle rain affected going, and Kiwi Jockey wouldn't go astray as well.
So we're trying to find ducks. There might be one that's double figure odds close enough to the end, but where do you want to start with this? We've got plenty of time to roll through, Matt.
Yeah, let's kick off in race 1. Indigo Star, J-Mac aboard. This horse has got a career peak on a heavy track, 1,400 metres last time, gets to the mile, 4th up. J-Mac on, just ticks plenty of boxes. And I just think Bizoo Star will relish the rain affected going and is fit, ticks all those boxes, as we said. Now, look, 7 chances, hasn't got the job done. It's been close enough. Recent figures good enough to win. And you're getting around $4 yesterday. Been very well supported. Got to pay the J-Mac tax now to $3.20. At a mark $3, Miles, so still a bet.
Oh, like it. J-Mac back in the saddle at Warwick Farm. Where do you want to move to next? Race 2, race 3?
No, well, Shoulders Arms race 2 at the moment. I expect a lot of these horses to come out. Race 3, well, there's a horse in race 3 that has an abundance of upside. It comes out of a Kembla Class 1. Its name is Autumn Dream. Now, I have no confidence whether this horse can handle heavy tracks, so only bet if it stays a soft 6 and the rain hasn't hit yet. So you just have to wait and watch. But this Autumn Dream jumped out of the ground at Kembla, runs near that again, which I think it will, because blinkers went on first time, and the Autumn Sun, some of them, when the blinkers go on, they explode, and this horse did. Bella Corazon's the danger. Also not a huge fan of that on a wet track by Am Invincible. So they're the 2, the 6 and the 9. If you want looking for a wet tracker in that race, the 7 Aurora Stone. So what we'll do, Miles, is if it's a soft 6 or better, we'll play Autumn Dream, and if it's a wet track, we'll play the 7 Aurora Stone.
Like it. I like it. Adjusting on the fly. We move into race 4 or race 5?
Yeah, nothing race 4. Not keen at all to play there. Race 5. Interesting staying race here, and not a race I usually like to dive into, but I spent a bit of time doing all 7 races yesterday. Spent a good hour on this race, and I think there's only 3 chances. War Ribbon is a huge chance. Now, look, the horse only won 2 from 11, but it's pretty much what you'd expect from a stayer. 1,600 metres in a 3-year-old 72 last time. Comes out here now, second up And you have a look at a second up run last time at Gosford on a soft 7 and over 2,100 metres that jumped out of the ground. If it runs anywhere near that, it wins. So handles around effective going. It's going to give a sight. Hovland, J-Mac aboard.
Victor.
By Dundeal. Victor.
Doesn't win.
Won't have any issue. Doesn't win. No,
Victor doesn't win.
This horse does 2 wins from 6 starts, and progressive enough first time at this distance. But you get J-Mac on, you're very, very hard to beat. What are you getting with 365 there? $4.20.
You haven't said mine yet.
That's good. And the other one in that same race.
Tell me it's a toppy.
No.
Oh, damn it.
Is El Hudson off a 7-day backup. I think that's a huge tick on a rain affected track, and I'm more than happy to take on the toppy.
All right. Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. You spent an hour on it. I haven't. Hey, race...
Been on before.
Race 6 or race 7?
No, nothing really in those races at all. Cassiel's been very well backed. I don't think there's much value left in that race. Race 6, that's J-Mac tax again. You're going to pay there. And to be fair, that's the horse I landed on, but I'd be more than happy to bet around it if I was to play. Maybe a Strand Beauty, but no good things in that race, mate.
So we're going to be race 1, Indigo Star. Race 3, where Autumn Dream if soft, Aroa Stone if wet. And then race 5 at this stage, you've got 3 horses that are a chance in that and probably Define tomorrow.
Yeah, well, what we'll do is we'll back them all now to win the same amount, and then we'll have another crack tomorrow and really and go again on that race.
So that was El Hudson, War Ribbon, and what was that?
It's just
Hovland.
Hovland.
8, 12, and 13.
Yep, and we're going to go to the last race because we've got a little play there as well.
Yep.
I think it's 2 horses. I think there's only 2 horses that can win that race. Golden Strand being the 10, and Don Juan, who jumped out of the ground deep into her preparation and can win the race. So they're the 2 horses we'll have 2 early plays on as well. One's $23, being Don Juan, and your Golden Strand is your favourite $3.
Yeah, African Daisy can handle that sort of, if it gets really wet, I think it can handle that sort of going, and it's a big enough price too. So we'll keep an eye on some of them.
Love it. Love your work. How is Will Friedman?
Mate, it's brilliant as always. Going to have a chat to him next.
With a mouthful of marbles.
Now, you're going to be doing Giddy Up next Monday and Tuesday.
I am.
Beautiful.
Looking forward to
that. Looking forward to jumping on. I'll be up there in Darwin on Monday, so I might have a chat to you there too. But appreciate your time as always. Going to chat to you later on throughout the week.
Keep your clothes on. See you, mate.
Michael Gannon there. Let's get up to Queensland for our midweek masterclass and have a chat to Chris Nelson as we look towards Doomben tomorrow. Hello to you, Chriso.
Morning to you, Milo. How you going?
I'm very well. Very well. Just I feel like I've settled into the chair now. I've got Gareth's sort of shape of his backside out of the seat. It's moulded to mine.
Which is bigger?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. I'm only a little guy. I'm only a little guy. He's talking about backsides or egos? I've got him covered in the ego department, that's for sure.
1-1 then.
Yeah, it's 1-1. Hey, let's go to Doomben tomorrow. What are we expecting, mate? We've got a 9-race card, and we've got the race rollover that came over from Saturday, which you mentioned on this show was a really nice race. So that'll roll over. But what are conditions like there at Doomben?
Well, it's beautiful and sunny today. Look outside. We've got 21 degrees today, so lovely conditions. Look, we might get a shower tomorrow. I'm just updating now. We're back to a soft 6 as of this morning. So I'd say we'll be back to a soft 5 come tomorrow morning, and we'll see what happens during the day. I can update you on that, of course, tomorrow morning. But things are certainly looking upwards, and we might get some more later in the week. But that doesn't worry us at this stage. Now, race 1... this is an interesting race because we've got a couple of horses here up the top that are very, very consistent, but they struggle to win. And I speak of Brazen Act and Winchman. Brazen Act, 11 starts, 8 placings. Winchman, 8 starts, 6 placings. So I've gone for one here. I think we need to keep an eye on market-wise. In number 3, Power of Success, trained to Toowoomba. Bubba Tilly will take the ride. Now, 4 starts for 3 placings. Yes, those placings have been in easier races, but he went around in a trial at Eagle Farm last week, and he ran the quickest time of all the heats. He went straight to the front. He won by almost 4 lengths. and he had gas in the tank at the end. So he's one to keep an eye on tomorrow in this opening race. So we'll wait and see what happens when markets come out, but we will keep an eye on the market of him. Race 1, number 3, Power of Success.
Liking
now,
that. Where do we go next?
Yeah, we go late in the day. Now, the first one is this race you mentioned that is carried over from Saturday, race number 8, the 3-year-old handicap. We've got some nice horses here. Mr. Bianco, Savour the Dream. Dracaena obviously won't run. Now, the one, or 10 Good Reasons probably will, number 10, and it was a good run last time out, so it's a chance. But I'm with number... Yeah, so was I. Number 2, Savour the Dream. Now, he's a horse that ran really well up here late last year and early this year. He won at Eagle Farm and he won at Doomben. And then they set their sights on a couple of Group 1s, the Australian Guineas and the Rosehill Guineas. He didn't fire, although he had no luck in the Australian Guineas. He was caught wide.
Yeah.
Look, he's trolled up well. I reckon he can run well. I reckon he just might be too good for these. He's a class horse, and those wins at Eagle Farm and Doomben were very, very impressive. So we'll go with him. Do you like him?
Yeah, well, if the trials were anything to go by, he might be all right. I thought they were solid enough, and I'm a bit like you. Is this 10 Good Reasons? I don't think I can keep trusting after what happened last time. And that win was over Brazen Act 2 back, and like you said, Brazen Act's not really stacking the form up everywhere else either. I thought that might have been a form line to follow, but it doesn't look like it's going to be all that flash, to be perfectly honest.
No, well, look, he'll run a race, 10 Good Reasons. He'll appreciate the step up in distance. I wouldn't sack him just yet. Just hang on. So have a saver on him tomorrow in that race also. Now, in the last race, race 9, number 3, Kick a Tin Along.
Kick a Tin Along.
Kick a Tin Along.
Don't
Kick
mind
a Tin Along. He's got a good form. He's got a good record, Milo. 5 starts, 3 wins, 2 placings. Now, he won all 3 starts last prep, Gatton and 2 at Toowoomba, and he was very impressive. The cumulative margin was 11.5 lengths for those 3 wins. He won the last race before, or his last run before spelling by 7. Now, he resumed at Doomben recently behind Sicilian. I thought he was quite good. He just didn't have things pan out. He needs, obviously, further than 11.10. He gets that tomorrow, goes to 13.50. So with the claim for Rob Thorburn, he also drops 4.5 kilos. So he looks beautifully placed in that last race. I'm pretty keen on him. So he may end up being the best of the day.
Hey, just before I let you go, the Metro Jockeys Premiership, we've got a Wednesday meeting. Angela Jones leads Emily Lang by 2. This could go down to the wire.
Yeah, hopefully it does. I mean, Angie's got some good rides there, but Emily's got a couple as well. So, as I said yesterday, your money would be on Ange at this stage with the two-win lead, but anything can happen, and it's good to see we've got 9 races, so it gives both girls a chance to either Ange to consolidate or Emily to cause the upset.
Well, I just noticed she doesn't have one in the first, does she, either? And Ange has got Brazen Act. And then, then kicks off in the second race with Reconciliate. But, geez, the managers and then the same stable and whatnot with Tony Golan, bit of a mess there trying to organise who gets on what horses, surely.
Not only that, the manager of the 2 girls is the same guy, Mitch Spears.
So they both ride for the same trainer with the same manager?
Yep, exactly.
Wow. Anyway, you know who's winning out of all of this? The manager is. He's making a quid.
Manager, it doesn't matter which way it goes. He doesn't mind at all.
He's making the same quid. I'll just put him on the best 2 and away we go.
Well, we'll see if Ange can hold on or Emily can do a St Kilda. Hey, I still can't get over that win, Milo. That was unbelievable.
Oh, wasn't it ever? You know what? I got a bit of a text last night. I gave Mitch Lewis a bit of stick. He was in Melbourne. And he's a diehard D's fan. I gave him a bit of stick yesterday, and I copped a little bit of feedback from maybe 1 or 2 of the Melbourne players last night, just saying, mate, don't go laughing at us on your show. I said I'm a D from way back. I'm an old school D. I don't think a few of them liked it. Anyway,
they had the chance. I mean, they can't blame anyone but themselves.
Oh, yeah, but to St Kilda though, I mean, St Kilda.
I know.
Look, at least St Kilda supporters have got something to cheer for, because you haven't been able to cheer as a St Kilda supporter since they drew that grand final, really, have you?
No, it's been a long time. And my wife's a St Kilda supporter, so I know all about it.
Oh, well, that's years of therapy, that is. Hey, Chris, I appreciate you jumping on. Look forward to chatting to you again tomorrow.
Will do. Thanks, Milo. Have a good day.
Chris Nelson there for the midweek masterclasses. We turned our attention to Doomben. We're going to jump to a break. On the other side of this, come back Mitch Lewis to join us. Midweek masterclass for Balaclava and for Sandown. All thanks to Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Don't forget, 2 after 9:30, Ethan Brown to join me. Then we run through some of the absolute superstars. I've got Ethan Brown. Mick Nolan's going to join us. I've got Kelda Jones, the Broome Turf Club CEO, Gary Clark, Mick Nolan, Jack Dickens. Plenty still to come. We'll be back on the other side of this.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. All thanks to the team at Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Miles Pfitzner filling in for Gareth Hall, 9:24. Midweek Masterclass, Mitch Lewis. Hello to you, Mitchie.
Morning, Milo. How are you today?
You're good. Before we go any further, I sincerely apologise for the payout of the Demons yesterday. They are the remarks of... someone who was not in the know. I withdraw them. I'm sincerely sorry.
Hey, it doesn't bother me. It's a racing show, so I didn't go with my tail between anywhere. We look after our own here at SEN Giddy Up.
We certainly do. Hey, mate, do you want to go to Sandown or Balaclava first?
Well, I've got Sandown open, so let's have a go there. I mean, both tracks, values hopefully the theme of the day. We're still sort of, you wouldn't expect them to get too much drier than what they are now. A soft 6 and a heavy 8 there at Balaclava.
Yep. I don't think so either. I wouldn't have thought.
So, look, I'm chasing value. So what I do here, I come on tomorrow as well, Miles, and do the tips, but I'm trying to find the ones I want to back early and try and get some earlier prices, particularly at Sandown. So, look, in race 3, there's a couple of horses that met recently, Butternut Princess and Old Business. Old Business shaded Butternut Princess that day. But I'm going to go the other way. I think Butternut Princess with a weight swing here sets up there nicely. All Business has got heavy track experience, but I'm not sure that's going to matter. It'll carry 60 kilos, while Butternut Princess has 54.5. And I think if you nearly swap the runs for that last start, Butternut gets it done. So at the value, that's the one I'd be playing early. I could see it shortening up a little bit more to be equal favourite at one stage.
Close enough to $5 with Bet365. Beautiful.
Yep, the next one we're going to go to, I'm just having a look now, someone's come for a little bit of the price. Race 4, number 4, Bolt Saver. So we're floating around 420 last I checked. It's been firmed in a little bit, I think. It's been there or thereabouts. I know 5th and 6th in the last couple don't read great, but 1.5 lengths off in sort of both runs. Not a huge knock on John Allen, but when you put Blake Shin on, you just expect the horse to be a little bit more positive. He's a positive rider, so the horse has been out the back in its last couple. I think in how this race maps, it might just set a little bit forward with a good long run in there at the Sandown hillside. I reckon it gets every chance to run over the top of them.
Yeah, $4 at the moment. Blake Shin for Reece Archard with Bet365. You got the others?
Yeah, race 6, number 1, Get Along. Look, it's got a big weight. It's a 1,000-metre horse, really good form recently, particularly around Storm the Ramparts. Lost to that horse by about half the length. I think there's an excuse there last time at Randwick when it finished 10th. Was well in the market there. It's had a jump out since that it came out and won. Maps to be on speed. Like I said, goes well over the 1,000. This is a drop in class, so I think Get Along's a good each-way play there in race 6.
We are getting, currently with Bet365, $7.265 for Get Along.
Yep, there you go. Like those. They're the ones there at Sandown where value hunting a little bit there.
Righto. Well, let's go to Balaclava.
They've
had a stack of rain over there in South Australia at the moment, an absolute stack.
Heavy 9, I'm seeing. So I don't love Balaclava when it's heavy because they come really, really wide. I like it when you can get the on-speed advantage, but someone's still going to win the races. So look, for a horse like this, Miles, race 1, number 12, Skadoosh for the Jollies, I probably want north of $3 on a heavy track. The Jollies are really good at setting up their debutants to come here to Balaclava and tick it off. It's a nice, good long run in from that 1,050, so the wide barrier is no concern. It's been trialling really well. You'd think it's just going to come here to hopefully just tick off the maiden, which the Jollies are very good at doing in Balaclava. So given the heavy track, I'm not playing anywhere below $3.
Anything below 3 is a no. Above 3 is a yay.
Yeah, so we might have to be quick this afternoon, which has been a bit of the theme in the last few weeks. And then race 5. This is the only other one I'm going to play for now. We'll come back with some better bets tomorrow, so I don't want to tip you up to $1.60 in the midweek. Look, I'd be nearly hoping for a 2-bet play here. The 1, Baba Yaka. This horse has been pretty good in its last few. The Aloha Blue form line through Gawler last time's pretty handy, but if you go 2 starts back, it was a length and a half of Hadra Beauty Bound at Morphettville.
Yes.
So the form is there, but smashing action as well for Justin Pickering. It's a horse that races up there on speed. It's got a light weight. It was a good winner here, 3 back. Then it's just wobbled a little bit in its last couple. I'd be hoping that if I can get north of 6 for either of them, I'd have a 2-bet play. So this is probably the race of the day. Lapilli's a good horse as well, but I think better over more ground, so keep an eye on it. So
yeah, Amelina Valentina doesn't go on the soft or the wet either.
Yeah, and the Birds and the Bees is another one trialling well, but I think gets better deeper into the prep.
Yeah, all righty. So
race
5, number 1 and number 9. Is that right?
Yes, yep. I want some good value out of both of those to back them both, but we'll see what the market spit out for tomorrow.
Hey, we have a chat
Watch
tomorrow.
Out for old mate Rich in race 6.
Oh, don't tell me Rich. You're kidding. Not him again.
He might win that.
How many has he won now since you got rid of him? 13. What, did he break his maiden? And then he's won the 13 since?
Yeah. I reckon he won 2. Well, he broke his maiden that time he tipped into Blighty. So I reckon he won 2 for us. He's gone out and won 12 more.
He's won 12 more.
Touching 184,000 prize money.
Yeah. Wow. What a
we've got time. I'll tell you the story if you want. It's a good story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that race that he won for you at Balaclava, won it like a star at 40s, weaving through the inside. I reckon I was in Alice Springs on a trip. We went to the pub to watch him race in his second race start at Morphettville. He was backed all the way in for something like $1.70, $1.60 favourite. We thought we had a star in our hands. He reared up in the gate, smashed his nose. He was scratched at the gates. And then ever since then, he'd lost his mind. He just didn't like him anymore, so we could never get him back. That's racing.
That's racing. And then he comes out and he popped up. Well, he won 2 ago at Balaclava, albeit at 56. That's $71, mind you. But I'll never forget him on debut at $44 or breaking his maiden at $44. It's one that he's had.
I'll never forget him banging his head on Morphettville next start.
Yeah, well, we've seen that happen before. Hey, Mitchie, appreciate your time as always. Look forward to chatting to you again tomorrow. Have you got back to Mount Gambier all okay?
Yeah, all here now, settled in, mate. So, and that we'll get into it, get through this next month of August, and it's a big spring coming up.
What's the weather like there today?
It's one of those clear days, no rain around.
Just cold.
A little bit of fog this morning, so there's no cloud cover, but the sun will be out in an hour or 2.
Appreciate you jumping on with us, mate. We'll chat again soon.
Thanks, mate. Have a good day.
Mitch Lewis there, formguidebreakdowns.com. Just wrapping the weather around the country too. Darwin, 31 degrees. Brisbane, 22 today. Sydney, 19. Canberra and Melbourne, 13. Hobart, 12. Adelaide, 13. Perth, 17 degrees. This is Giddy Up for Gareth Hall. Miles Pfitzner for Bet365. With Bet365 Top Tote Plus, you get the best payout across all 3 national totes. Imagine what you could be buying instead. News time, Ethan Brown on the other side of this.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. The ACTU is demanding the Albanese government introduce legislation to safeguard workers from AI, saying workers should have full confidence the tech won't cost them their jobs. That comes as former Aussie airline Ansett is making a comeback as an artificial intelligence-powered travel agency. The Senate overwhelmingly votes down One Nation Senator Pauline Hanson's motion to scrap Australia's net zero by 2050 emissions policy. And after 5 days of deadly border clashes, Cambodia and Thailand have agreed to a truce. Up next, SEN Sport. There'll be no action for an off-the-ball incident where Vision shows Toby Green kicking his leg backwards, striking Sydney's Dane Rampy between the legs. But on SEN, AFL football performance manager Greg Swan admits it's not a good look.
Did have a look at it. I think the thing, and so that we won't be taking any action on it, only on the basis that he actually doesn't connect.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up for Gareth Hall. Miles Pfitzner with you, all thanks to the team at Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Thank you to the newsroom for that. Our next guest, the third most Group 1s last season in riding 6. 85 wins he rode. His last 50 is going at 18%, but for the season went at 17.6%. Absolutely airborne, all-round good guy, Ethan Brown, joins me this morning. Good morning, Ethan.
Morning.
Hey, had Johnny O'Neill in here yesterday. He said, mate, my man Ethan, he's going to tear it up this next season. You must be looking forward to getting your teeth stuck into a whole nother season and a whole nother spring.
Yeah, definitely. Johnny's right there. I'm feeling good. I've just come back from a holiday, which freshened me up well. But yeah, off the back of last season, it was an amazing season. Ready to capitalise on it and ready to hook in.
Where did you go on a break, Ethan, before we get stuck into the horses and whatnot? Where did you get to and how much time did you have off?
I had about 3 weeks away, all up. Probably just over a month off of riding. Went over to America, done a few places over there. So, yeah, it was a great refresher and back into the winter here in Melbourne now, which isn't very pleasant, but it's all a part of it.
It is a part of it. How do you go in your breaks? Are you still trying to sort of maintain some level of fitness, or do you try and switch completely off? Is it something that you have to sort of keep an eye on and manage?
I think naturally you always got in the back of your mind, you're always thinking about your weight. You try and I tried my best to switch off as best as I could. Which I did successfully. But as I said, I think every jockey's in the same boat. They've always got that thing in the back of their head where they're probably trying to keep some degree of fitness so they don't blow out too much.
Well, you've had the tale of two tapes. Your last ride you rode up there on Stradbroke Day. I was up in Brisbane then. It was beautiful. And then you just rode a winner for Kieran on a gelding on the Ballarat Syntho there on Sunday. So you're left in the heat. You've come back and gone to Ballarat and won on the Syntho. That looked as cold as all get out there on Sunday.
Yeah, that was a shock to the system. That's for sure.
Mate,
getting good support off of some good trainers. So I'm happy to travel around and. As I said, I'm keen to get back into it. So a winner's a winner, no matter where it is.
How's the flow-on effect? And for the listeners out there, you're starting to get on better horses. You're delivering on the better horses on the big stage. The 6 Group 1s last year, so I had them as the 1,000 Guineas, the Moya, the All-Age, the Oakley Plate, the Northerly, and the Australian Cup. You're getting on better horses. You're travelling up and going to carnivals and getting on better horses. Is it sort of a bit of a snowball effect when you get to that level? Is it, you do well on good horses, leads into other good horses, leads into other good horses?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you still got to do a lot of work behind the scenes, but it definitely helps when you're sort of executing a plan in those higher pressure races. I just felt I proved to a lot of people that I'm capable and can do it, and as you said, it's probably a little bit of a snowball effect. But, you still got to keep your head down, and it's not easy to find the good horses and stay on them at that. So, really looking forward to what spring has to offer. Ready than ever.
Well, let's get stuck into a couple. I'm saying your number one seed's probably going to be Jimmy Star after the All-Age and, of course, the Oakley Plate. Where are you at with him at the moment, and what are your conversations in regards to Kieran and Johnny and the team? I put it to Johnny yesterday, Ethan. I said, out of Light Infantryman and Jimmy Star, who's most likely to win a Group 1? He didn't even hesitate that he said Jimmy Star.
Yeah, he's certainly the number one seed there. He's an extremely good horse, as you've seen last prep, and took a lot of improvement from his previous prep in the last prep. So he's up in Sydney, I believe, so I haven't had a lot to do with him as far as this prep goes. But, yeah, I believe he's going to stay in Sydney. He'll run first up there into the Everest. He'll trial up there too. But, you know, light infantry he's another horse who can go on with it. I know his last start was probably a little bit disappointing, but he had enough by then, I think.
And he looks a horse that can maybe sort of bounce out of the ground, and everyone will go, geez, well, we've finally seen it from him. Like he's not fully put it together.
Nah, and he even a couple preps ago had a little bit to do with him, and he was immature. And I think last prep, just the travel and everything, he's probably just worked out Australian racing a bit. And I reckon last start, he may have just had enough, but you're right, like he could jump out the ground. And I was talking to Johnny and Ozzy about him, and by all reports, he's come back stronger and better than ever. So looking forward to him as well.
We saw the trial again of another Prophet, which you won the 1,000 guineas on this morning. He looked like he's still returned in some sort of order.
Yeah, definitely. She ran up in Sydney. She was thrown in the deep end a touch from memory, and she didn't get the best run in transit. She ran really well. So I think she's capable of like taking that next step forward. Break would have done her really well. Kieran's got a team of good horses there that I've been associated with, and really looking forward to the future.
You'd be hoping Gringotts would make maybe a Melbourne appearance, be the number one seed to get the steer on Gringotts, surely.
Yeah, I'll have to speak to Johnny about that, but Johnny and Ozzy and the team. But yeah, look, what's that horse? He's been place of affection, mind you, but just the improvement he's shown every start, and that's what Kieran can do. So I'm extremely lucky to be, a part of that team and that crew. I hope if he does come here, then I'm able to get on him. But
I saw a video of him the other day, and he looks chalk and cheese. He's returned. He looks a beast. Absolute beast. Oh, ridiculous. Hey, mate, are there any other horses that you're looking forward to getting on over the spring? Have you got a couple in the back of your mind that you're looking forward to sort of repartnering with that maybe I've sort of run through a couple of the clearly obvious ones? But is there maybe one or two horses a little bit off Broadway? You're starting to get a following. I mean, here at the station, a few texts have come in and said, ask Ethan a few outside of the square a little bit. Have you maybe got one or two for the listeners that we can follow you on?
Not at this stage. I think in the next, if you ask me in a week or two, I will for sure. Yep. The better horses start trolling soon. I think Mornington Glory's going quite well. I know he's proven. I think Veggie's done a good job with him. He's come up well again. But yeah, look, going forward, they're my two number one seeds. And as I said, ask me that question in a couple of weeks. I'll be able to give a list of something.
Might have to. Ethan, mate, fantastic season. Third overall in Group 1 winners in the season behind J-Mac and Damien Lane. 85 winners, and like I mentioned, your last 50 striking at 18, and for the season you nearly went just shy of 18%. You've had a hell of a year. Look forward to following you right throughout the spring. One last question. Someone off the text asked about Exit. Have you had the pleasure of sitting on Exit yet, or that's going to be in the next few weeks?
I sat on her before she even raced. I actually galloped with her one day. I asked Johnny about it, and they tipped her out, and then I was obviously away when Blake won on her, but she's very smart. There is one horse actually that the listeners should probably focus on the spring. A horse called Pia. He was at that Brisbane meeting. He won the listed race. I think he's a really nice horse on the up, and I think he's capable of standing up this spring.
Mate, we see you at the Racing Awards in a couple of weeks. Go and put the tuxedo on, maybe have a nice night out before the season kicks off.
Yeah, that's it. I'll be there.
I'll go and shout you a beer. We'll see you there. Hey, mate, appreciate you jumping on with me this morning. Congratulations on your season, and look forward to following you throughout the spring, my friend. Go well.
For sure. Thank you.
Ethan Brown there. Like I said, 85 winners in the season, 6 Group 1s. going at 18%. You don't get much better than that. In fact, there's not many that have gone better than that. Quick break. On the other side of this, we're going to come back and have a chat to Kelda Jones, who is the CEO of the Broome Turf Club. They've got their sort of Cup Carnival or Cup Day coming up after the Darwin Carnival, so a lot of people go to Darwin and then they go across to Broome. But looking forward to having a chat to Kelda, and we'll find out what's happening up there in Broome. Plenty more to come, all thanks to Bet365, Top Tote Plus, never ordinary, Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Back in a moment.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. The Western Whip Around. Tune in to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West.
Well, welcome back. Tune in to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West. And speaking of ultimate destinations, Kelda Jones joins us from the airport in Singapore, thanks to the Broome Turf Club, of course. Hello to you, Kelda.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Kelda, Broome Cup is on my bucket list. Coming up the 16th of August 2025, you've got Ladies' Day, of course, on the 12th and the Kimberley Cup on the 2nd. How's everything going in the plans for sort of the Broome Carnival? It's one of the massive bucket list items I have. It is one of the destinations I think everyone needs to get to go and see the races.
Oh, it certainly is. It's a super track and picturesque race course. So if you haven't been, I suggest everyone should go. It truly is a unique track.
Kelda, over in Singapore, are you promoting the Broome Cup in Singapore at the moment? I'm trying to get a few of the Singaporean trainers to come over to Broome.
Well, we just actually have had the Singapore flights, direct flights from Broome to Singapore, which unfortunately they have just finished. So we were collaborating with a lot of the Singapore people to come to Broome, but they've just cancelled the flights, unfortunately.
That's not ideal. Now, ticket sales, a good family day to go there, especially you've got Kimberley Cup leading into Ladies' Day and then the Broome Cup, but they can go to the Broome Turf Club website. But how are the ticket sales going so far and what have you got on offer?
So the ticket sales are going really well. We have an owner's own marquee this year, which that's all fully sold. We have a Moet and Willie Creek marquee, which is our premium space. We still have a few tickets available for that. And then we have just our general admission areas as well as the members. Those tickets are all available on Eventbrite for every day, so Kimberley Cup, Ladies and Broome Cup. There is a marquee for Ladies' Day as well, and also an owner's own marquee, which will be something new that we haven't tried before and fantastic collaboration. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Kelda, appreciate your time. I understand you are at the airport. We're going to do our best to try and promote racing up there in the top end, essentially, or across the top end of Western Australia. But, certainly one on the list, and hopefully can get up there to the racecourse with some good weather and a picturesque racecourse and have some fun. Appreciate your time again this morning.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Kelda Jones there from the Broome Turf Club. The 2nd of August, the Kimberley Cup, the 12th of August, Ladies' Day, and the 16th of August, the Broome Cup. If you haven't seen any racing there at Broome, make sure you jump on Google, have a look at some of the images right there on the water. We're going to jump to our last break of the half hour. I'll come back and reset the show on the other side of this. All thanks to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination of everything racing in the West, and of course, Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. Back in a moment.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back. Giddy up for Gareth Hall, Miles Pfitzner filling in, all thanks to the team at Bet365. You'll get the best part across all three national totes with Bet365, Top Tote Plus. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Massive last hour coming up. On the other side of the 10 o'clock news, Nikita Ross to join me. Big announcement for country racing Victoria. We'll run through some of the early cups, the country racing awards. Nikita's an absolute ripper across everything to do with country racing here in Victoria. Jack Dickens to join me from Mailbag Bloodstock. Mick Nolan will also join me, and then Gary Clark, the leading trainer up there in Darwin, as we'll discuss his cup runners and some other runners across the Darwin Carnival leading into this weekend. Plenty more to come on Giddy Up, your one-stop shop for everything happening in the latest in horse racing, chasing, pacing and racing. 10 o'clock, news time, fast approaching. And just a recap of the weather, Darwin 31 degrees if you don't mind, Perth 17, Adelaide, Canberra, Melbourne 13, Hobart 12 today, Sydney 19 and Brisbane cloudy 22 degrees. We'll be back on the other side of this.
Powered by Signet. Good morning. I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. Tourism, fishing and aquaculture operators affected by South Australia's toxic algal bloom can now apply for government support. Hard-hit commercial fisheries and aquaculture licence holders may be eligible for up to $100,000, while small businesses showing a 30% drop in turnover can apply for $10,000 grants. Applications are open from today. The Federal Health Minister is doubling down on the Albanese government's plan to expand free healthcare access across Australia. $9 billion will be spent into Medicare reforms aimed at reaching 90% bulk billing by the end of the decade. Some GPs say the funding boost still falls short of what's needed to make the scheme viable. But on 9, Mark Butler remains confident that clinics will embrace the changes.
We have access to every single billing that doctors make in general practice, the Medicare billing, but also the gap fees. And we calculated this policy very carefully to make sure that general practices are better off. Obviously, patients will be better off.
A new report from the CSIRO suggests wind and solar is the lowest cost energy technology to support the net zero transition. That comes as the Senate overwhelmingly voted down One Nation Senator Pauline Hanson's motion to scrap Australia's net zero by 2050 emissions policy. And St Kilda great Nicky Winmar is set to face court today, accused of breaching a court order. Coming up next, SEN Sport. New AFL football performance boss Greg Swan spoke to SEN this morning addressing a raft of issues. One of them, players dishing out gut punches to opponents, with concerns it's a bad influence on players in junior levels. He thinks such action should receive an automatic 1-week ban.
So everything that happens in this at the elite level filters down to the juniors and everything else, and you just don't want those things.
for Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
Welcome back. This is Giddy Up, the Country Racing Hour, all thanks to the team at Bet365. With Bet365 Top Tote Plus, you get the best payout across all 3 national totes. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. In the Country Racing Hour, when we talk country racing, who better to talk to than the star of country racing herself? I speak of Nikita Ross. Nikita, hello to you.
Good morning, Miles.
Hey, always better for talking to you because it means we're learning something or something's been released or something's happening. I saw this and I thought this is a great initiative because things are tight at the moment. We love our spring country racing days. It's probably the number one thing that I would get DM'd about which one to go to, and we'll talk about that later. But Country Racing Victoria have announced a flash sale with discounted tickets as of today.
As of today, that's right. Only a short window, 48 hours today and tomorrow. Everyone can get 25% off selected spring race days. So there's 36 different events to choose from where you can get 25% off your entire cart. So if you're buying 5 tickets, you get them off the lot. So there's some massive savings to be had and a great opportunity to get in, get your tickets, make sure you lock them in nice and early and then head along to a spring race day, of course, once the footy's done.
So this is football trips, this is netball trips, this is buck shows, this is hens do's,
family days,
Yep. This is the people that normally try and pick a day and go in large groups.
Yep.
You've got 2 days to essentially get quarter off your tickets.
Yep, get the messenger going, WhatsApp, all those groups need to be lighting up and hopefully you can round up a few mates and pick a race day. As I said, we've got them all over Victoria, so we've got all spaces covered, so I'm sure you can find one that's nice and close and it's a great way to experience country racing with friends. And
so this will range from the general admission tickets right through to some of the packages?
That's exactly right. Everything that's on offer at all the different events. So whether it's an all-inclusive package where your drinks and food are covered for the day, you don't have to worry about anything else, general admission tickets. We've got others that, are more on the more budget-friendly side of things. But, yeah, there's something for everyone, for all different budgets and what people want in a race day.
We're going to get stuck into maybe the select race days. I'm going to put you under the gun. Questions without notice in a little while. But that's great news. So that's today and tomorrow only. 48 hours, 25% off, up to 36 participating country events across spring. So if you normally go to some of those big country racing events and you are listening today, get in touch with your other groups. If you normally do a footy trip, I know I've been to a couple, buck shows too. If you've got a group of mates and you're going to go to the races, you may as well buy them today rather than buying them later because it'll save you quarter the price. There's a lot happening with Country Racing Victoria at the moment too because it's heating up to the Country Racing Awards night. SEN, we go. We love going to the Country Racing Awards night. Tell us, is it same place this year and when is it?
Yeah, so it's at the Convention Centre once again, and SEN, of course, have been long-time sponsors of our Jack Styring Media Award, which is a terrific initiative acknowledging someone who's made a contribution in the media to country racing and for the work that they've done promoting country racing throughout the season. So it's going to be another great night and quite exciting. We have a new club award this year, so we have a community event of the year. So rather than just having one event, we had so many across the season, we've decided to split it into 2 divisions. So we've got club event of the year and then community club. So that just gives the clubs that hold 6 race meetings and less an opportunity to have their own category in terms of event of the year.
There is a lot of clubs that only have, even they range from 1 to maybe even 2 a year. It's hard for them to compete against the Ballarats and the Geelongs of the world.
Exactly right. Warrnambool, May Carnival, because they're a big club. So you've got
Mildura, Swan Hill.
It is quite varied. So look, the Community Club of the Year Award, it's a great category this year. So just running through some of the finalists, we've got the Burrumbete Cup, the Great Western Cup, Menangatang Cup and the Towon Cup. So they're all iconic events in their own right. And it's going to be really exciting to see who takes that out as well as our 3 other awards with all worthy finalists.
Could you run through then the 4 categories then of the awards?
Yep, so we've got our McPhail's Furniture, who are a new sponsor coming on board, Community Club Event of the Year. We've got Then the Kelly Sports Event of the Year, which are for larger clubs. So we've got the Benalla Cup, Bendigo Cup, Echuca Cup, Wodonga Cup and Yarra Valley Christmas Party Race Day, all in as finalists in that category. Community Club of the Year, that's overall club. We've got the Ararat Turf Club, Casterton Racing Club, Donald Racing Club, Horsham and Mortlake are all finalists. And then the final award we've got for clubs is Club of the Year. And we've got the Geelong Racing Club, Sale Turf Club, Seymour Racing Club and Warrnambool Racing Club as the 4 finalists there.
Beautiful. And then this is also the night where you present Country Horse of the Year.
We do.
And it normally is the horse that's gone and dominated the Cup circuit somewhat, or won a few of the Cups. So there's 3 in contention for the voting. And how does the voting work?
So each club gets a vote. So, the clubs decide this award for Horse of the Year. And this is, in my time, one of the closest votes that we've had. It was quite widespread right across the board. So we've got 3 very worthy finalists. Dashing, trained by Aaron Purcell, Rhinoceros, Emily and David Brown, and Right and Rose, who Pete Moody and Kat Coleman trained. So it's going to be a really tight one and can't wait to see who takes that out on the night.
It will be a tight one. Did they all win 2 from memory? Did they all win 2 Cups each?
Right and Rose and Rhinoceros did. Dashing won the Swan Hill Cup. And
but he also won the Wangoon.
Yeah. And
sort
then
of counts.
There were some placings as well in the Coastal Classic, Bairnsdale Cup and Echuca Cup for Rhinoceros. So, all well performed across the country circuit.
Now, the season essentially kicks off, do we call it Grand Final Eve? Is that where we kick off on the sort of Country Cup circuit?
Yeah, I think we can call it that. So, the Friday before Grand Final Day with the Bet365 Coleraine and Bet365 Benalla Cups.
Oh, but the Coleraine Cup I've been to before. Absolutely love going to Coleraine. There's a cute little track. Can you tell me, this is a question without notice, if I said to you, I know that you can't be too biased, but the top 3 or 4 days that maybe people, if they haven't, I'm a sucker for Dunkeld Cup. I tell everyone that the Dunkeld Cup's just a must-do if you've never done it. I don't think there'd be a more picturesque racecourse in Victoria than it.
No, I don't think so. That's that's one of my favourites. So I would definitely have the Dunkeld Cup in as one that you've got to experience, whether you get a bus there and back, whether you stay in Hamilton. I've done that, stay in Hamilton, catch the bus out, it takes you back, go back to the pub that night. It's just a great weekend. So that's definitely one to put on the list. Benalla and Coleraine, a great way, I think, before Grand Final Day, great way to kick off the season. So they're both good days. Gumbauer Cup, they had a bit of a torrid run for a while.
Very good things about Gumbauer.
Yep. So Gumbauer Cup this year is on Saturday the 4th of October. That's a fun day. So again, not too far from Echuca. You can stay there. You've got your accommodation, a bus running out to Gumbauer and returning you back as well. So all the makings for a great weekend. And Echuca's a lovely part of Victoria as well. So great to be up there.
Certainly is. Anything else we need to know that's coming up in the country racing world? Is there anything we can break here while Gareth's away? He probably texts you and says, save the breaking news for when he's here.
I can give you the discount code if you'd like.
We'd love the discount code.
That's probably one that people will be looking for. So the discount code for 25% off over the next 2 days is 25 and then 4, FOR, 25.
24. So the number 25.
Yep.
FOUR.
No, FOR.
Oh, FOR.
Yep. 25.
Yep.
So it's
25 for 25.
Yeah, so 25% off for spring 2025 is our campaign. So
25 for 25.
Yeah, but if you jump onto country.racing.com, you'll see a link there and you'll be able to click through, find all the participating events as well as others as well. We've got our feature event guide, which has just launched. So that's a guide with all of the country racing events for the season. So it's an easy way to pick out your favourite events that you can head along to.
Get in touch with all your WhatsApp groups, your Punters Club wind-ups, your families that you normally go with, footy clubs, netball trips. If you're going to buy bulk tickets, you may as well go and buy them in the next 48 hours. Nikita, always a pleasure chatting to you. Look forward to chatting right throughout the spring and maybe seeing you at one of the Cup days. Appreciate your time as always.
Great. Thanks, Miles.
Nikita Ross there from CRV. Don't forget to 25% off for the next 48 hours. The discount code, I can't believe I said that, 25, the number, FOR, 25. Stop laughing, Nikita. 25, FOR, 25 is a discount code you could use. Go to Country Racing Victoria, of course. We're going to jump to a break. We'll come back. Jack Dickens from the Mailbag Bloodstock, Mick Nolan and Gary Clark to talk Darwin, all coming up on the other side of this.
for Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour. The Giddy Up Bag of Tips for Oz Equipment Rentals. Supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipment.com.
Thought we'd squeeze in bag of tips before we get to Jack Dickens, all thanks to Bet365. With Bet365 Top Tote Plus, you get the best payout across all 3 national totes. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au and the Ultima Hotel in the heart of the Mallee, just down the road from Swan Hill. Swing by for a cold beer. And, of course, Oz Equipment Rental, supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. Go to ozequipment.com. Shout out to Shano and the team. Luke Havanassian for Wellington. Race 5-11, Miss Caris. That's 5-11. And race 7, number 3, Chico Casino. That's 7-3 at Wellington. Mitch Lewis at Swan Hill, and this will be your Bet365 Mega Boost horse of the day. Swan Hill 7-5, Mr. Vane. We should have played that. Call me Mr. Vane. Call me Mr. Right. That's what they named it after. I know what I want, and I want it now. Yeah. You know that song? Caught? Yeah? It's track. Swan Hill, race 7, number 5, Mr. Vane. I'm going to stir crazy here. Darren Carroll for Shepparton, race 2, number 4, Post-it Lafitte. That's 2-4, Post-it Lafitte, and 6-9, Tivoli. 6-9 Tivoli at Shepparton. Harness Racing New South Wales, the home of the Carnival of Cups, where Australian music royalty meets quality harness racing action for Amanda Rando, the superstar. Newcastle 4-1 Rainmaker. 4-1 Rainmaker and 6-4 a Vapor Storm. 6-4 a Vapor Storm. And that is Bag of Tips, all thanks to Oz Equipment Rentals, supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries, and of course the mighty Ultima Hotel in the heart of the Mallee, just down the road from Swan Hill. Swing by for a cold beer or meet off the famous smoker. And Top Tote Plus with Bet365. You'll get the best pad across all 3 totes thanks to Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. Hey, the man, the myth, the legend from Mailbag Bloodstock. I've missed him here on some of the mornings. I've missed his contribution on SEN Track. So when I got the chair back, I went, you know what? I'm just going to message his bloke and say I want to chat to him. We saw the win of Windstorm there on the weekend. I speak of one Jack Dicko Dickens. Hello to you, Dicko.
Hello, how we going?
Very well, mate. Probably not as good as you at the moment. Now, I do know that you've had a dodgy back. But, tell me first, how's the back been, my friend? Well, I'm seeing you down the screen, and if you want to tune in now on YouTube, Facebook, or on the SEN app, mate, you look as happy as Larry.
I'm very excited for just praying to God, Zeus, Allah, Bilbo Baggins, that Liam and Noel can keep it together so I can get out to see Oasis whenever they finally rock up in Australia. I've got my ticket. That's my sort of futures bet for this year. But, yeah, I've popped something in the back that it can flare up. And I put the young bloke, Ted, the youngest of 3.
Yep.
Which is probably it's a lot to take on 3. And he got me about 3 in the morning, and I've just been sent sideways since.
Oh.
And I've been running around the peninsula trying to find some. We've got an issue, actually. If someone can text in, I'm trying to get one of these belts that sort of keeps your rig together, and they've only got even extra larges for the girthiest of the girthy, and it's not going to work for me. So that's my next mission after I talk to you, my man.
Beautiful.
Otherwise, life's very good. Right?
Well, mate, let's get stuck into a few ponies. Now, I just need you. I know what you grabbed right in front of you, but just leave that down so I can leave you on the stream just for the moment. Now, Windstorm on the weekend. What a story, mate. Can you go back to when you guys bought this horse from the Peters camp? He's gone to Bedgie, and I mean, we're going to talk about Bedgie in a while, but it was good to see this horse get up and have a win. I don't think anyone out there was not sort of didn't have somewhat sort of a resolute level of chuffness that Windstorm was able to get up there at Caulfield on the weekend.
Yeah, but I don't know, when we bought him, it was a while ago now, he went to the races quick and he ran 2nd or 3rd first up in a Saturday race. I only paid $50,000 for him. And he's sort of like, he'd run a big race and you'd go, oh, we're cooking here. You know, when he lobbed at Gavin's, when you buy one on a Wednesday, which is when the digital will shut, like will close, the horse might arrive Thursday or Friday.
Is it that quick?
Often it is, yeah.
Wow.
It depends if the horse is spelling or, So the last horse I bought, top of my head, Sunsets, needed a spell, so it goes to where we spell them straight away. But he was at the stage where we wanted to have a look at him. Gavin likes to get him in and have a look and then send him for a spell, as example. Yeah. And he rang me and he goes, "This horse you're going to have a lot of fun with this horse." And then it ran well. We got excited. He's earned a heap of money. So, whilst he's been frustrating for punters out there, and he's been frustrating for the ownership group in a way, he's now won $215,000 or something. So they've had a great run, prize money wise. But he has been frustrating on the punt. We've had a few cracks at him, but not often. That's sort of what we do. Pride ourselves on, I guess. Milo is I'll say, "Righto, boys, today's not the day." I don't know how they've made him $6. He was $6 and $7 his previous 2 starts. But on Saturday, they disrespected him. And they continue to disrespect him late. He was 26s. My last bet on him was $60 flat on, I don't know if we're allowed to say the exchange.
Yeah. You can get away with
it. God bless whoever it was that had just that significant, severe lack of respect for my horse. We loved him. Gavin freshened him, and Gavin was saying things like, I can tell from Gavin's tone, I've got that many with him and had that many with him when he's real keen. But that horse makes Gavin and I look silly. So he was reserved a little bit, but I could just sort of put it together and go, this bloke's really happy with the horse. I love the map. And I didn't think he was a moral, but, if you start $6 or $7 to start prior versus Saban, and Sati was in that race, and Sati's won 2 since, $26 is just wrong off the SPs alone.
Benji said in the post-race interview, and I sat at home and watched all the races on the weekend, that the rider at Trackwork said, "Mate, this thing's flying." So there was an air that someone knew that the horse was going pretty well.
Yeah, that grouse video, if you get onto your TikTok or Instagram where that bloke's doing a cross on the news and he's on a bridge and it's a flood, and the bloke comes down and he goes, "Oh, whoa, mate, just ease up, son," and he rolls through and soaks him. That was Gavin to his track work rider. He was saying, "Mate, everyone says he's humming, just calm down, you're not putting the wages on." But I think he might have had something on, and everyone had a big result. It was glorious, man. We've, they're
the ones you love. And it makes a big difference, especially when you go and buy these horses, that if you can have a bet one day and get a bit back, it's good. Let's talk about a couple of others. You've got the mailbag team at the moment. What about Giddy?
Giddy had a beautiful, beautiful jump out Tuesday, maybe last week. Logan Bates rode. He was really, really happy with him after a poor run as favourite in a Saturday race in Sydney. He's in tomorrow at Sandown off the really good jump out and brings proper form. The price they were putting up yesterday I thought was pretty disrespectful. Might have been $7 they opened. There's still 7 there at one joint. But thinking about flaring up, Milo, and sending Giddy to Rose Hill on Saturday. 3 times the prize money. The rain's coming. He loves the rain. And I think we'll probably scratch him from tomorrow and head to Rose Hill. Wherever that horse goes, you could have a bet if you're listening at Sandown today for tomorrow, because if he runs, he's going to go very good.
Yep.
And the other horse, Marshall Music, is in the same race. Thinking about running him and making him a good thing, I reckon, Friday at Cranbourne in a benchmark 64,000.
Beautiful. What about, there's another couple I want to ask you on, Shiny New Deal.
Very, very excited about this horse. Ready to run horse, bought with Gavin from New Zealand. He's gone really good. We had a big offer for him early, knocked it back. He's maturing each time. He's a real, all those cliches that they come on and they tell you and you sort of roll your eyes. He's actually one of them. He's scopy and
precocious.
Not the finished. Oh, yeah. He's not quite there yet, this horse. Once he figures it out, this guy could be anything.
There's development.
That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So this is a horse that's got genuine scope, and he returned on last Wednesday Sandown, well short of his best, and his last 600 was beautiful. So I think he's in for a really nice preparation, that horse. That's Shine New Deal.
And then you've got White Bear, which I think he got off the Moroni in the Glenn Thompson team. This is a horse that's sort of been kicking around that sort of 60 to 70 grade level. You're going to pick up a couple of races with a horse like this?
That was the appeal to this horse, was the price. It was the rating versus his ability. He's got like a really nice SP versus Harry's Yacht, and like good form around him, lightly raced. He's a horse. When we picked him up, he needed a big spell. He was very light in condition. He's had one run for us on wet ground, which his form said, "Don't do that, Jack." And I didn't listen to that. I listened to the other part of my brain that sometimes leads me astray, that said, well, he really got through the wet ground in a trial really strongly. So I thought, well, why not kick him off at Cranbourne? And he was poor, but he also missed the start, little check mid race. So the next time you see him, it might be this week. It'll probably be Wednesday week if the rain stays away. We want to get him onto a good track, but he's significantly improved in condition, and I think he'll win a few races for us this prep.
Dicko, the mailbag team are flying. We love seeing the horses go around. I mean, we've seen Just Folk kicking around as well. You guys are going extremely well. But there's another side of what you're doing too when you do the Early Crow podcast with our little mate.
Well, apparently he's not that little. Apparently he's got a few little weight issues.
Did you see? I've caught up with Tommy Sheridan's podcast where on Osmerican Aces. Yeah. I'm sure you've seen it, where Toby Green has said that he got the DM at midnight of Paps eating Maccas at midnight sent through to him. It's good gear.
I had a chat to him Saturday morning. Like we had a pre sort of races chat, and he said, "Oh, my ribs sore." And then he goes, "I texted Toby last night. I sent him on Macca's." He's so proud of himself, and it's great chat from Tom. People underestimate the blokes like you. That's elite chat from a footballer. I thought he handled the sledge really well. I think it's great for the sport and the game, and I think both of those boys are like what racing needs. They're characters that drive content, and you sort of can't wait to watch the next time they play each other, can you?
No, absolutely not. Just before I let you go, Dicko, and thanks for coming on, mate. You've been generous with your time. Dave's texted in, asked Jack his thoughts on their new purchase, Velia. I've got a share in it. Is that one you've got in your...
Yeah, so that's one with your man, Mickey Gannon. Mickey Gannon sort of steers the mailbag bloodstock in New South Wales. That horse is with Cody Morgan. I think that horse is progressive, and we paid absolutely nothing for it. There was three horses. I think I bought Sunsets at sale. We bought, I can't remember its name, but it's up there with Matt Dunn for nothing. And then Velia and Ghazi, who I bought off Graham Begg, who's gone to Michael Hickmont. Velia and Ghazi look really progressive to me. The right sort of age to have a lot of fun with. So I think you're in good hands there, Dave. You'll have a lot of fun, and on top of that, you get to, if you haven't heard Mickey Gannon somewhere through the week, which would surprise me because the bloke's on every podcast that's done in racing and sport, you'll also get a pre and post race from the great man himself, who's actually also a phenomenal golfer.
Yeah, for +6. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
I don't know if he's +6. That's a bit.
He was +6.
Is he saying +6?
He was +6.
Well, I play the two times I've played him, I beat him Stableford. So that's.
Yeah, I knew you'd get that in somewhere here. Hey, I'm going to get Hickey on later on in the week. I'll ask him about Ghazi too and have a chat with him. I know Johnny's started to roll a few over to Hickey as well, so it's good to see you rolling a few with Hickey, mate, as well, and supporting the guys over there.
He took Cruise Missile that was going awful, and gave it a run and said next start will be very hard to beat. And I thought, Michael, calm down. I've only just sort of got to know you. And he said, no, I'm telling you. And it went around at 30-1 and won by 5 lengths. So as far as I'm concerned, Michael Hickmont's in a world of his own. He's a guru, and God bless him.
Yeah, I've had him with Michael. It's an absolute ripper. Hey, Dicko, appreciate your time this morning, mate. I messaged you the other week, so we've got to catch up for a beer. We're overdue, you and I. Overdue. So get that back right. We're going to have a round of golf.
It's going to be a big session because there's about 50 bikes I haven't seen for 2 years either. But, just be careful, guys. If you're out there, you have one, you have two, then you have the third. It's not a lot of time for yourself. But it's great to talk to you, Milo. I've missed you and I've missed SEN. Have a great day. Bye for now.
You're a star. Jack Dickens there, the Mailbag Bloodstock. Absolute ripper. And look, the horses are going well. They speak for themselves. And like we mentioned, Windstorm there on the weekend. This has got a stack of these horses rolling around that are going really, really well. We're going to jump to the news. We'll come back on the other side of this. I've still got Mick Nolan and Gary Clark to join me as I round out the last half hour. Back in a moment.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. The Albanese government doubles down on its $9 billion plan to expand Medicare across Australia. Some GPs, however, say the funding boost still falls short of what's needed to make the scheme viable. Mark Epstein, the brother of convicted sex offender Jeffrey, is calling on the Trump administration to reopen the investigation into his brother's death. He was found dead inside a jail cell while awaiting trial 6 years ago. And the federal health minister says he's getting advice on regulating the medical cannabis industry. Coming up next, sen.com.au sport. New AFL football performance boss Greg Swan spoke to SEN this morning addressing a raft of issues. One of them, players dishing out gut punches to opponents, with concerns it's a bad influence on players in junior levels. He thinks such action should receive an automatic 1-week ban.
So everything that happens in this at the elite level filters down to the juniors and everything else, and you just don't want those things.
For Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. All thanks to the team at Bet365. It's never ordinary with Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead. Miles Pfitzner with you. I was sitting on the couch on Saturday and I was watching the races there at Caulfield, and I saw a horse win called Stylish Secret, and I saw the man interviewed straight after it who trained the horse in, Mick Nolan, and I thought I want to get him on the show and have a chat. Mick, hello to you and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's lovely to be on. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Mick, the bit that got me was you said it's nice to complete the 4, and it took you a while to get the one at Caulfield. So that means you've had winners at Flemington, Sandown, Moonee Valley, and you've been trying to tick off the 4th one.
Yeah. The first horse I took to Sandown, Moonee Valley and Flemington all won. And then I've had 4 races. I've had 4 goes at Caulfield. Albeit I did get beat half an inch there one day with this horse. So, but it's good. It's for an old bloke with not many horses. It's not a bad. I'm quite proud of that fact.
Well,
my Metropolitan squad rate's quite good.
So you should, Mick, because it's very, very hard to win a race in a city, let alone win at all of the metropolitan tracks. And I as soon as you said it's taken me a few goes at Caulfield, I thought, geez, I have to have him on. Mick, I want to ask you about the horse in itself. I went back through the breeding. You don't see many of the sweet oranges kicking around. Where's this horse come from?
Well, he was an English horse, I think. Obviously, about the only one that I've ever heard of is that horse at Phillip Stakes, Dino Sweet or Junior, or whatever it was called, that ran in a couple of Melbourne Cups. That's the only one. He's probably like a lot of English-bred stayers that come. They live in New Zealand, obviously, and they don't have a lot of early success, and they sort of people, they don't buy their horses. But I honestly don't know much about the horse.
So did you get much? Is this one of your owners breed him for you, or did you go and buy him somewhere?
No. The story with this horse is that a good friend of mine, Helen Thomas, who was in ABC Radio for years, she bought him online as a yearling, a weanling for $2,000. And then when he started winning races, I told her she was the best weanling buyer in the Southern Hemisphere. She bought him for, I think it was 2,000 or 2,200 or something, and then she kept him for 12 months. Then broke him in and was going to, try to put him through a ready to run, and nobody wanted him. So I said to her, I'll buy him off you. I'll put a few of my clients in and I'll buy him off you. And it just so happened that he's a half-brother to that horse that Matt Williams was Unseen Ruler. And he happened to won a maiden, I think it was a maiden or some race at the Warrnambool Carnival. And a few of the blokes were mates with some of their owners, and they all had a good win on the punt. So then when I told them that I'd have Unseen Ruler's half-brother, they all said, yeah, we'll buy him. So and I ended up selling about, I think we gave Helen 30,000 for it to cover the cost and all that. And I sold about 120% of him, and he's the only horse that I was saying that I don't have a share in. Or my partner Jenny doesn't have a share in, I should say.
Well, Mick, you sounded like in your interviews, though, that you really love that the owners get to celebrate and get a win in the city, and you sort of seemed like you were happy enough that the fact that you had a group of people that were having a hell of a time with a cheaper horse at the races.
Yeah, I get a bigger thrill out of watching them win than I get that of my watching them win, because they go, we've had a pretty frustrating campaign with, all bad, mainly through bad alleys and bad luck. Because the bad alleys produce bad luck. No, it's through no fault of anyone's, but just the way races pan out, and finally to get a win was very satisfying.
Well, where to for the horse, Mick? Have you got any plans, or is it just the pretty standard, just take it a few weeks at a time, but you got a handy enough 3-year-old here that might be able to do something?
Well, he's had that was his 8th start, and at the moment I'm just driving over Baldy Bridge, taking him to Violet Town to give him a spell. So
yep.
He's only a little horse, so he can go out up there and go out in the paddock for a couple of months, and then we'll bring him back. We're just, one thing we won't do, we won't get our ambitions mixed up with their capabilities.
Yeah, but I like your approach to it, Mick. Also understand that you recently turned 70, so nice little birthday present, mate. And look, thanks for coming on this morning. I greatly appreciate your time, but congratulations with the horse, and look forward to hopefully a few more, and you can maybe see if you can do the round again, go back to Sandown at Moonee Valley, Flemington, and tick another one off at Caulfield.
And just before I go, I want to thank my beautiful partner Jenny for putting on my surprise 70th on Sunday.
Oh, beautiful.
It was lovely to have all my friends and a few of the owners there together. It was great. And thanks very much for having me on.
Anytime, Mick. Best of luck, and shout out to Jenny. You must be a hell of a woman. Appreciate your time, mate, and all the best of luck to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mick Nolan there. He is the trainer of Stylish Secret. And, I heard him in the post-race and I thought, gee, I have to get him on. Absolute ripper. And well done to him. That Wheeling cost $2,000. How about that? And then, the half to Unseen Ruler. Well, it just goes to show you don't need to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it done. Someone's just asked about the bag of tips. Well, yeah, I've read the bag of tips already, but they will be going up as a podcast and on the Track Hub, so they'll be going up very, very shortly. What we are going to do, I'm going to clear a break. I'm going to come back on the other side of this. I've got about 6.5 minutes with Gary Clark to talk Darwin Cup, and that'll be the end of the show. Back in a moment.
for Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
Welcome back to Getting Up. Miles Pfitzner filling in for Gareth Hall, all thanks to the team at Bet365. Don't forget CRV 48-hour flash sale, 25% off for Country Racing Victoria spring meetings for 48 hours only. Use code 25 FOR25, so 25 for 25. Hey, just can't get a hold of Gary Clark at the moment. I don't want to rush him too much, so if we can't sort of squeeze him in on the other side of the break to do the Cup, we might even try to push him over to Wednesday. But it's obviously a busy time of the year for him because he's got races Wednesday, Saturday, Palmerston Sprint, and then through to the Darwin Cup again on the Monday. But we'll do our best to give you a bit of a Darwin Cup sort of preview. We'll try and get Peter Roble, Jason Manning, Michael Hickmott on before the end of the week. Don't forget, too, the Breeding, Bloodstock and Banter podcast will continue with Guy Mulcaster. So that'll be out probably later this afternoon or this evening. So Guy Mulcaster to join me there. We'll just chew the fat. And, of course, I'm going to get James Mitchell on just to see the state of the game at the moment. I'm going to talk about these 2-year-old numbers. I saw that article at the straight.com.au when they ran the numbers in regards to the 2-year-old numbers and how they're at their lowest levels in years. So I'll have a good chat to the captain in and around that. What I'll do is I'll try and clear a break. If we can get Clarkey on the other side, we will, just to do the Cup. But I do want to get him for some period of time. So if it gets too tight and we can't get him, I might even roll him over onto the Wednesday show. We'll try to do our absolute best to get you the most we can for the Darwin Cup Carnival. We'll go to a break, back to finish the show on the other side of this.
for Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Miles Pfitzner with you. I'll be heading up to Darwin on Saturday morning and up there right through till Tuesday. And who better to chat to when the Darwin Cup Carnival is fast approaching than the man, the leading trainer up there, has been striking at 20% his last 50 and 19% the last 12 months. I speak of Gary Clark and he joins me. Hello, Clarkie.
How you going, Miles?
Very well, thank you, mate. Very well. I know we're a little bit caught on time, but I know that it's a busy time of the year for you too, mate. But Darwin Cup, we've seen the weights come out. Wolfburn 59.5, Flash Flood 58.5, and you've got Siakam, Pink Panther, Cacophonix, and Awash all at 54 kilos, mate. How's your Darwin Cup team looking for this year, and are you happy with them?
I've had a few ups and downs. Miles, I've probably one's going to go by the wayside, I think. But I mean, Wolfburn, I'm really happy with him because he just took a little bit longer to come up this year, but he's right on song at the moment.
So Wolfburn probably your number one seed leading into the Darwin Cup?
I would say yes. Yeah, but he doesn't need luck. He makes his own luck, and he's just a tough horse.
Hey, let's move to the Palmerston Sprint over the 1200. Lumberpunk, I know you've got Flying Annie in there and you've got some other horses. I know Flying Annie's also nominated there for Monday in race number 2. Rising Sphere, of course, who's done a good job for you, Galaxy General. Field of Flutes, Faro Magic, and a horse that a lot of people in the south know in Boldinio.
Yeah, that's correct. I've got quite a good... I'd be happy with probably any one of them going into the Sprint, but I mean, I've got... 5 or 6 of real life hopes. I suppose it'll come down to how they run the race and who gets the best run through the race.
How's Boldinio taken to the dirt?
He's taken really good. I've only given him the one start, and he surprised me a bit. I didn't think he was quite ready, but I was really happy. He won well. He ran good time, carried big weight. He drops to 54 now. One run under his belt, he's going to take some beating, I think.
Clarkie, how likely are you to take some of these horses that are nominated Saturday into Monday, or are they going to end up probably more than likely running one or the other? You're likely to back a few of them up?
I'm not. I don't usually do that, Miles. Yep. Like if they run Saturday, that'll be it. They won't run Monday.
Beautiful. And so, let's maybe focus a little bit more on Monday then. Flying Annie, Siakam, Hennessy Ladd. You've got Seguso, I know recently has run well, and the boys that I'm with have all got a share in that. I've had the text messages going already. Yeah. Marrakesh, Devil's Delight, Bolin. Have you got one or two for the listeners? They like to follow you over the carnival, but if you had one or two for the carnival for the listeners to maybe have a shilling on?
I like. There's one horse in on
Saturday
that I like. It's Mr. Marrakesh.
Yep.
He's in a 1200. He's probably more of a 1300, but I think he's a nice horse that's going to go through to open grade, and he's sort of only halfway up through the grades at the moment, so he's one to follow.
Mr. Marrakesh there, your number one seed, Wolfburn for the Cup, and really unsure, 1 out of the 6 for the Palmerston Sprint. You just hope to get it done. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah. At the 900, I'll have the leader, I'll have the one out the back, and I'll have about 4 in between.
Hey, mate, I know it's a busy time of year for you. What happens function-wise? Do you get sick of all the sort of carry-on in and around it? You just want to get to the horses, or you don't mind this time of year you get to have a beer with a few of us Southerners?
Oh, I just poke around in the shadows. I dodge crowds and I dodge functions. I just do my own thing mainly.
Yeah, well, I'll come and see you in the shadows, mate, there on Saturday afternoon, somewhere there at Fatty Bay. I appreciate you jumping on with me, Clarkie, and I'll hopefully see you in a few days, mate. Best of luck for the carnival.
Righto, thank you.
Gary Clark there with, like we mentioned, a host of chances and a good team running into the Palmerston Sprint on Saturday, which will be there live on course. In Rising Sphere's been a good horse, Field of Flutes, Boldinio. I mean, really, if he can get anything that he used to have here in the south, He should donkey lick some of those. And then we've got Mr. Marrakesh. We can back in race number 2 there at Darwin on Saturday, with Wolfburn being the leading chance of his going into the Cup. But like you said, he's had a couple of setbacks. It's been quite humid up there in Darwin when talking to Andrew O'Toole yesterday, but it is looking to cool down over the weekend. But the Darwin Carnival, if you are heading up there, let me know. I'd love to catch up, have a great Northern with you or two. Taking it relatively easy, as Louis warned me, I've got to be back here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for Wednesday morning to get through the last week and a half of Giddy Up. So we'll be taking it pretty easy, but look forward to catching up with whoever's heading up to Darwin for a beer or two. What we are going to do, we'll get Peter Robel, we'll try and get Jason Manning and Michael Hickmott over the next couple of days in the lead up to try and paint a picture of what will happen in the Darwin Cup. Don't forget, you can, any of the podcasts or any of the segments from the show, you can go and get them where your local podcasts are provided. Just go and search Giddy Up or via the SEN app. The tips will go up on the Track Hub there, of course, and breeding, bloodstock and banter will go up later this afternoon. I'll see you all tomorrow for a massive Wednesday edition of Giddy Up.